Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel has a ton of cards in the inventory. Whether you're brand new to the game, whether you're transitioning from Duel Links, whether you're old school and you're trying to get back into the game, you have to be wary that there is currently 6,750 cards in this game. And a lot of these cards are going to be URs. You're not going to have gems to craft every single deck you want. And there's a lot of SRs too. There's 1,508 SRs, 693 URs. However, a lot of people just overlook the normals and the rares. What if you don't have the currency to buy these URs? What if you don't have the currency to buy these SRs? What if you ran out of gems? In today's video, I'm going to be discussing a whole bunch of really good normal and rare substitutes and generic cards you can use in your deck to help improve your deck without having to spend an arm and a leg, and you can hold off on getting those better cards after. What is up, all you beautiful people? It's I, AkemiTCG, back with a brand new video. If you're new to the channel, hi, I am AkemiTCG. If you want to get more help playing this game, if you want to find extra tips and tricks, extra ways you can improve your gameplay, if you're brand new to the game, you're a seasoned veteran, I guarantee you this channel will help you. So make sure to drop a subscribe down below. Anyways, let's get right into it. We have these staples. This is almost a comprehensive list. If you're new, you're not gonna know what these cards do, so stay tuned. I'm gonna explain what each card does. And if you're seasoned, you can just literally take a screenshot of this and then leave. That's fine, I don't mind. As long as you clicked on the video, drop the like, sub, that was fine. Anyways, so a lot of these cards are very generic, barring the Exceed monsters. The Exceed monsters are sort of generic depending on the levels that you're using, but the Link monsters are very, very generic as well. By generic, I mean you can put them in most decks and it works. For the main deck stuff, we have Radiant, the multi-dimensional Kaiju, and Godarla, Thunder King, and Jizukuru. So you're looking at the gigantic attack. You're like probably wondering, so how do I summon that? It's level 10, level 9, level 8. I gotta tribute 2 monsters. What are you, crazy? So how all these Kaijus work is you can special summon this card from your hand to your opponent's side of the field by tributing their monster. So if they have a big boss monster you can't get rid of, you tribute their monster to summon this on their side of the field. And thankfully, unless they have the field spell, they're not going to have the field spell. 99 times out of 100, your opponent is not going to have Kyoto Waterfront as their field spell, okay? So you're going to tribute their boss monster to summon this boss monster on their side of the field that effectively does absolutely nothing. All it does in the field is it's a big body that has high attack. Most players opt to just play Godarla, the Mystery Dust Kaiju, because it's a wind type, and in the current meta, there is a statue that says you and your opponent can only special summon wind monsters. So this is the way to kind of get out of that. So I recommend putting in the Kaijus, especially if you're going second, you're scared of Herald of Ultimateness, you're scared of cards that are like, oh, Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes White Dragon's a bad example, but I say like the Buster Blader fusion, the Gravekeeper card that's unaffected by card effects, 3,500 beaters, like stuff that's just too big to handle. You have a Kaiju, you tribute their monster with the Kaiju, and they literally can't stop it. It's not an effect that happens, so they can't Solemn Judgment it. I mean, you could summon it on their side of the field, they can Solemn Judgment the summon, but like they lose their monster and they lose this big beat stick on their side of the field. So I highly recommend playing Kaijus. Nobody's talking about them and I don't know why. Next we have Lightning Vortex. Very simple. Discard 1 card, destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls. If you don't have access to Lightning Storm, then Lightning Vortex is your go-to. And also Lightning Vortex doesn't necessarily have to hit the stuff in attack position. It can hit the stuff in face-up defense position as well. So if they're playing a deck like a really niche deck like Super Heavy Samurai, you have a way to destroy all their face-up monsters, whereas Lightning Storm doesn't really do anything against that deck. And it's only a rare, so you get way too many rare chips in this game just for playing the game, because there's not a lot of cards that are rare in main decks. Next we have Dimensional Fissure. Any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. So a lot of decks nowadays revolve around using stuff in the graveyard. So if you do this and they don't have a way to get rid of it, it could be a death sentence for a lot of decks. So I highly recommend Dimensional Fissure if you're playing some sort of control deck that just stops your opponent from playing while you keep playing. Mystical Space Typhoon destroys spell trap on the field. It's a quick play, so you can use it sort of like a pseudo trap card during your opponent's turn, and also use it from your hand during the battle phase, granted that it's your turn. Book of Moon, same idea. Target a face-up monster on the field, flip it to face-down defense position. Okay, so you're gonna target a monster, bam, goes down to defense. Your monster's about to get destroyed by battle, boom, flip it down to defense. They drop Effect Veiler on your monster, boom, flip it down to defense, your effect goes through. They have lower defense than your guy's attacking monster, boom, flip it down to defense, run it over. There's so many applications for this card, it's ridiculous. Like, if they're trying to synchro summon with 2 cards, you boom, flip one of them down to defense, they can't synchro summon, so now they're stuck. So, it is a very good card, underrated, and honestly, it could end turns, really strong. Forbidden Chalice, target a face-up monster on the field until the end of the turn. That target gains 400 attack, but its effects are negated. So you have 2 applications with this. If your opponent's life points are less than 400 or less when your monster is attacking and you have Forbidden Chalice in hand, you can activate this during damage step, make your guy gain 400 and you win. And also, if your opponent has problematic card effects, then you can Chalice it at the right time and the turn will literally end. So, I mean, it's a good card. It has double application. I actually already made 3 for myself. Torrential Tribute. When a monster is summoned, destroy all monsters on the field. Clear cut, simple. You summon something, they have a lot of cards, you can destroy everything on the field. They summon something, there's a lot of cards in the field, boom, nuke the field. It's a very, very strong card, and it's at 3. You can use 3 of them. Bottomless Trap Hole. When your opponent summons a monster 1500 or more attack, destroy that monster, and if you do, banish it. So this destroys the monster and banishes it. So if they have a graveyard effect, so unlike Torrential, if they have a graveyard effect, it gets banished. So it's not coming back. Next is Needle Sealing. If there's 4 or more monsters on the field, destroy all face-up monsters. So this is a little bit different than Torrential, where Torrential you have to wait until your opponent or you summon something. But this is like when there's exactly 4 or more monsters on the field, destroy all face-up monsters. So very, very strong card. Note that it only destroys face-up monsters. So if you're playing a trap deck like Ghost Trick or something like that, then you can take heavily advantage of Needle Sealing and it becomes a really one-sided thing, which is really dope. Compulsory, target 1 monster in the field, return it to the hand. When something's battling you, you can return it to the hand. They have a big boss monster, return it to the hand. They're about to synchro summon, return it to the hand. A lot of different applications. Same with Phoenix Wing, except you have to discard 1 card, target 1 card your opponent controls. Could be a spell or trap too. Put it back to the top of the deck. So if you do it during the end phase where they don't have a choice but the turn is now yours, then you can maximize the effectiveness of this card. And sometimes it'll slow your opponent down for 2 turns, which is enough for game. Dynamiscus, target 1 face-up card on the field, discard 1 card, and banish it. So, if they have a problematic boss card that activates stuff in the graveyard, good example is Trapagate Shoe Rag, then you can target it, discard 1 card, banish it, it's gone. And also, if you activate another trap while this is in your graveyard, you can special summon this as a normal monster that is unaffected by monster effects. So, it's 1200 attack, it's a level 2, so if you're playing a level 2 deck, which is Paleo or Paleozoic, then you can take heavy advantage of that. Next is Lost Wind. Target 1 face-up special summon monster on the field. Its effects and also its original attack is halved. Its effects are negated and its original attack is halved. And also, if it's in the graveyard, if your opponent special summons a monster from their extra deck, then you can set this card from the graveyard onto the field, but banish it afterwards. So basically, you can use it twice. It's a 2 for 1. And it also cuts their attack in half. Very, very important. Because if they attack you, and their guy's 3000, your guy's 1700, you can use Lost Wind, cut his attack in half. Now your guy wins the battle. And if you win the battle, you win the war. That's how it be. So last but not least for the spells and traps and monsters, we have Force Back. Negate the normal summon or flip summon of a monster, return it to the hand. If they summon something, just return it to the hand. It is a counter trap. It has that little zigzag thing. So like, your opponent cannot use monster effect negates to negate it because it has a little counter trap symbol. Like, people don't know about this card. It's basically compulse, but you have to do it immediately as it's happened. And it has to be a normal summon or flip summon. Very important. Normal summon or flip summon. So if they summon Alistair, you can bounce it back to their hand. That's it. And it could work. If they summon a Monarch, put it back to the hand. They flip summon a Shaddoll monster, put it back. And negate it. You negate it too, so the effect doesn't activate. So extra deck staples. If you're playing rank 3, Bamboozling the Gospel's Shadow. When your opponent's monster activates the effect, you detach 2. the activated effect becomes both players draw 1 card. So it's not really a negate, it just changes the effect of the opponent's monster that activates, and that could win the game. And also the card you draw from it, you can win the game from it too. Number 50, Black Ship of Corn. Detach, you just need 2 level 4s. Detach 1 material from this card. Target a face-up monster your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to this card and send it to the graveyard. So if they have something that's 2100 or lower, you can target it, send that monster to the graveyard. Does not destroy. Send it to the graveyard. You take 1000 damage to your opponent, and also this card can't attack the turn you activate its effect. So you can do this for a game, you can do this for time. You can put... There's ways to augment this card to take advantage of this, but 1000 damage to your opponent is very, very strong. Especially also with something that can't be destroyed by card effect. This just sends it to the graveyard. So that's really good. Heartland Draco number 82. While you control a face-up spell, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. Once a turn you detach a material, it can attack your opponent directly, but other monsters can't attack. So if they're 2000 or less life points, they have a million stuff on defense, you're like, how do I get over this? If you have 2 level 4s, then you can literally attack directly with this for game, as long as they have 2000 or less life points. It's pretty free. Level 5 is Shark Fortress. Your opponent cannot target monsters for attacks except for this one. Don't worry about that. Once per turn, detach a material from this card. Target a face-up monster you control. It can make a second attack during each battle phase's turn. So you detach one, target one of your monsters. You can even target itself, actually. That's 4800 damage. Target one of your other monsters. It can attack twice during the battle phase's turn. Very, very strong card. And if you just make it by itself, it's 2400 times 2 is 4800 attack. That's over half. It's strong. Very strong. Next, we have Gravity Controller. So you just need 1 non-link monster in the extra monster zone. So if you summon any of your monsters in the extra monster zone, which is the columns 2 and 4, the horizontal columns at the top, this extra monster zone cannot be destroyed by battle with the monster in the main monster zone. So if they can't summon stuff from the extra deck, they cannot destroy this monster. They literally cannot destroy this monster. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster in the extra monster zone, you return both that opponent's monster and this card back to the deck. So it's a compulse on wheels. Very, very strong. They have a boss monster, just bounce it back. Easy peasy. And since it's back in your deck, you can use it again. So you never have to play more than 1 gravity controller. Next, you have Pentastag. Any 2 effect monsters in the game, if your link monster attacks a defense position monster, so whatever the arrow is pointed to, it can do piercing battle damage to your opponent. So it goes right through their defense. Very strong. Next is Cross Sheep. You just need any 2 monsters with different names, including tokens. You can do tokens too. If a monster special summoned to a zone this card points to, you apply the following effects based on the card types this card is pointed to. So if you summon a ritual under it where the arrows are pointed to, you draw 2 cards and discard 2 cards. Fusion, probably the most important one. Special summon a level 4 or lower monster from your graveyard, so you can just keep going. Synchro, all your monsters you control gain 700 attack, and Exceed, all your monsters your opponent controls lose 700 attack. So regardless of what deck you're playing, if you have a way to summon Cross Sheep, especially if you're playing fusions or rituals, you can take maximum advantage of this card. And last but not least, Geonator Transverser. You need 2 effect monsters. This link monster cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effect, and also the cards it's pointed to. And also, if this card points to 2 monsters, you can literally just switch control of those monsters. So if they have a boss monster, you got Weeding Hunt Jr. in the corner, you can switch those 2. So that's really, really good for a normal monster. Anyways, hope you all enjoyed. I'm pretty sure I missed a lot of cards, but if you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. I really, really hope this helps someone, but honestly, like, you can do a lot with literally just 3 MST, 3 Book of Moon, 3 Chalice in the main deck. 9 cards, you already got 12 cards off of Torrential, and it'll stop a good amount of duels. So hopefully you can use these first. If you can find the upgrades, the correct upgrades you want to play them in SR or UR, and then just slowly make your way through ranked. And as you go your way through ranked, you're gonna get more CP SR and CP UR chips. That is it for the video. My name is AkemiTCG. I'll see you guys next time.
The world ends now.